send it around to the group before we tip it over officially. So yeah, we're in a good place.
Cool. So yeah, just so you know, you aren't muted. I don't know if Greg or I can do that.
Oh, I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, we've got Nathan, Mike, Justin, Greg, myself. Dana just hopped on, so people are starting to load up the room. It's that moment in the meeting when we have more member communities than WES staff. Yay!
All
Close the
right.
doors, Greg. Close the doors.
All right. We can shut it down now.
Ellie, stop.
Well, here I can start. Give another minute or two to see if anyone else is showing up, but it's already a good amount of folks.
You're gonna share the agenda?
Yeah. Well, oh, can people see my screen? I thought I was
Yeah, right
sharing.
now we're seeing your Outlook with the not Outlook, Explore. What the heck? All the files. Meeting minutes,
The packet, the
agenda.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Whatever that's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, sure. Just the agenda today, do some welcome introductions. We're gonna review and approve the minutes from our last meeting in December.
And
Jessica's
Greg,
gonna go over some.
I
Oh,
don't see the agenda if you're sharing that. What?
here, let me share again.
Yeah, it might be sharing the wrong screen. It's your
Yeah,
file
that's what I was gonna
explorer that
say.
we're
You're
seeing.
sharing your
Oh,
file
really? Oh,
explorer,
okay.
not your agenda.
Okay. Let's see here. Ah, that is a lot more. There we go.
There we go.
There we
That's
go.
the one.
Good thing I just had the file explorer up.
Yeah.
The other window.
TikTok videos on the other screen.
Yeah, so here's the agenda. You can read through it, but yeah, just after minutes, we'll do member community invoicing for the first half of the fiscal year. Then an amendment to a regional INI IGA update, some updates from member communities, and then a roundtable discussion where we'll get into the Oregon City McLaughlin INI project. So we'll reserve some time to discuss that there or earlier. I don't know if it fits in earlier, Jessica. But
Yeah, we can run through.
But yeah, that's what we have planned for today.
Just trying to see how many people we have. Kenny's here, Jeff's there. Yay! All right. Cool. Well, in the interest of time, we will kick things right off. If you don't mind, I can't see everybody. View. Multi-speaker. Side by side. Standard. What the heck gives me everybody? I'm gonna try and call everybody out by my screen to go through introductions. But I may miss somebody, so just speak up at the end. Jessica Ritter, Water Environment Services and Collection System Engineer. Greg?
Yeah, I'm Greg Carnes. I'm the admin specialist for the Capital Group. Yeah.
Jeff? Staller? Sorry.
Jeff Stallard, the capital manager for WES.
I won't make Zach, he's on the phone. Zach Kohlmeyer is here, our construction manager slash inspector for the Capital Group. Justin?
Yeah, Justin Poyser, utility manager, City of Gladstone.
Eric?
Eric Lance, Public Works Director and City Engineer for Westland.
Chris?
Yeah, I think Jessica. Chris Randall, Happy Valley Public Works Director.
Jeff Tolentino? No worries.
Had to find the unmute button. Normally used to Teams. My name is Jeff Tolentino. I work for the city of Milwaukee, and I'm the assistant city engineer.
Oh, thank you. Kenny?
Candy Schultz, project engineer sewers for Oregon City.
Dana?
Morning, Dana Webb, Public Works Director for City of Oregon City.
Thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, Stephen, I'm an engineer with WES, primarily for a treatment plant work.
Mike?
And Mike, senior civil engineer with WES, mostly conveyance.
Nathan? If you can.
Nathan Seaver, engineer at WES.
And Andy?
Andy Bachman, West Senior Civil Engineer.
And Josh?
Josh Miner, Senior Civil Engineer with WES, focusing on delivering projects during construction.
And anybody I missed? I think I got you all. No? Yippee! All right. So yeah, let's review and approve minutes from our December meeting.
Of course, I sent this out earlier this week. In case you missed it, here they are right here. Everybody take a look, and then we'll do a call for approval.
Is it just me, or do others like this new format that's much more condensed?
Less information, is that helpful? Okay.
Well, the recordings are there, right? So if somebody
yeah, they're
really
all
wants
uploaded,
to,
so
yeah.
I believe there's a little bit more. Yeah.
If someone wouldn't mind, I'd need a motion to approve, or if anyone has comments, please speak up.
I make a motion to approve.
Thanks, Jeff. Do we have a second?
I
I'll
can provide the
second.
second.
Thank you. Was that you, Kenny?
It was.
Okay, thank
be
you.
voting
Sorry, I
today.
can't see. There we go on my screen. Thank you very much. Cool. All right, so on the agenda, we were hoping to talk about member community invoicing for the first half of fiscal year 24-25. I know Oregon City, City of Milwaukee, and Gladstone, I believe, we still have all active projects that are under the INI IGA that we will be reimbursing you for. Oh, Jeff too. Yeah. I honestly haven't seen anything yet. So if you expected something for me to see, I haven't seen it.
My invoices are in QAQC.
Excellent. Thank you, Dana.
I need to check in with our finance department. Our finance people are usually pulling those together. So you haven't seen anything come through on your end? I'll
No.
check.
And I had them just in case. I had people check the inbox in the office and whether it went straight to like accounts payable or Aaron Blue or myself. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind checking and just narrowing down if they did send it, if it came hard copy or email and to whom. So
I'll
yeah.
check. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And then it kind of brings us into the other next topic. We are working on an amendment to the IGA that kind of clarifies those invoicing periods and stuff. I think we've discussed before. Originally, when the IGA was written, it indicated that a project would only invoice once at its completion. And the person who wrote that was not a finance person, because that about put our finance folks into a tizzy. If you have a 3-year capital project and you're requesting funds for something that happened 3 fiscal years ago, it doesn't work well in the accounting world. So that's why we kind of settled on twice a year, kind of mid fiscal year and the end of the fiscal year, so that finance can close their books every year. So that is part of what is being clarified in the letter amendment or the amendment to the IGA. That is the main part of it, I think. I'm trying to think on the fly of what actually is touched on in there, but we're working on a draft copy, which will be distributed to everybody for review. Prior to being finalized and routed for signature. But that was the main thing, clarifying when we needed invoices by, so that the books could be closed out. Jeff, do you remember anything else? Jeff Stollard? There wasn't any big.
Nope, that pretty much covers it, what you
Yep.
said.
So that's in the works, and hopefully in the next few months I'll be sending stuff out to folks to review. And then the other thing we got, and which Greg distributed to all of us, City of Oregon City has another proposal. Kenny, if you wouldn't mind kind of just walking us through the McLaughlin Basin Project 1.
Not at all. So Greg, would you mind throwing up the proposal on the screen just in case if it's there?
Absolutely. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's yeah. And maybe go into the second page because I think the map is the only real interesting thing there. So basically it's just downhill of Malala Avenue. So it's in the McLaughlin neighborhood, a couple of basins, Lynn and McLaughlin. More heavily on the lateral rehab on this one as opposed to the mainline rehab. I believe I put in about 1,100 feet of CIPP and about 100 services. Total costs estimated in about $3.4 million. Going to be going to bidding probably in April, so coming up soon.
Excellent. Cool. How's it going with, I mean, you guys are forging the path ahead with the lateral rehab. How are you finding you're getting your methods kind of worked out? And
yeah, I'd say that we've got a pretty good process. It's still pretty lateral rehab is challenging. A lot of the hiccups do revolve around plumbing code and getting confirmed building permits, but we're kind of ironing those out as we go. The pricing's been pretty good. Contractors really like pipe bursting. We've been using more and more CIPP because it's just very convenient in a lot of cases to avoid tearing up major arterial roads. But yeah, I'd say that we've got a pretty solid approach these days, and these are becoming slightly more routine, which was always the goal, but it's kind of good to see that we seem to be getting there in reality.
and how's the I'm sure word's getting around. How's the public responding? Is it favorable now, or?
It's quite favorable. The more likely scenario for public to public interaction is neighbors reminding each other to turn in their right of entry forms than complaining. So
Good.
we get a lot of more like unsolicited requests than we get complaints.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for Kenny on their proposed project? All right. And we would need to vote, each member community has one vote towards whether to recommend this be included. Are we all in favor of including? If I guess we can do a hand raise for the different cities. Eric, Chris, Jeff, myself, Justin, and Dana. I think you approve your own project, but all good. Anybody not in favor? Thank you, Kenny. All right. I will go ahead with the paperwork. You get an original letter that just says, yes, you are recommended to be included. And then once you have the contract in place and stuff, if you could send me a copy of that, and we do the actual calculation of 33% of as bid. So,
Will do. We're sorry that we're always a bit late in getting you our contracts. I think we'll try to iron out that process on our side as well.
no worries. It's like, believe me, keeping track of all the different projects that are going on, and I look at it every 6 months, and I have to refresh myself on where things are and what's going on out there. So,
Jessica, can I add one thing?
Sure.
And Jeff can help us out with this one. There's still substantial money on the table that Wes is willing to do, to provide for these efforts in general, for the whole region. So I would encourage all cities that could be involved to be involved as best they can. Like, put these projects together and let's see if we can fund them. Happy Valley is unique in that, and the fact that Wes provides that service for us on our behalf. So you're not seeing anything from us, but I'm definitely a proponent of doing this work in our system protects our treatment plants. So I think we all need to be cognizant of that. Any thoughts from the West team? Jessica's just shaking her head. So there's must be plenty of money available.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I mean we have underspent the last couple of years for what we had in our CIP, and so we do have this is a 5-year trial run, so we'll definitely have to look at where we're at. But we have money to spend over these first 5 years, and looking forward in the capital plan, I believe I have $2 million a year for member city I&I projects, beyond this 5-year agreement. So we're planning to continue to support these endeavors. But to Chris's point, we're not, things just take longer is what's happening then. And that's all projects, quite frankly, not just I&I projects. But yeah, we have money to provide for the right projects.
I think Kenny actually has some excellent data from the work that Oregon City has been doing that has shown decreases in flows. So we all know it helps and it works. And Justin, do you mind? How is City of Gladstone doing? Because you have your MAO and such.
Yeah, so we just did all the I&I project work, of course. We just installed some flow meters throughout the basin. They'll be in for 3 months, and then we'll be doing a study analysis this spring. And if everything looks good there and we can show reductions, I think we'll be off the hook with DEQ.
Excellent. Be curious to see how. I haven't heard anything. As people know, a good portion of Justin's collection system goes to our Wes's owned Gladstone pump station. I'll be interested in seeing. Unfortunately, we haven't had the rainiest of winters yet, but we usually see reduction in run times at the stations and stuff. So be curious to see what the flow metering comes up with, and after we have a few gully washers, how the Gladstone pump station performs. So, cool. Does anybody else have or would like to give an update on what you got going on? I mean, I won't put you on the spot, but I will. Jeff, Milwaukee, how's Waverly Heights?
Sure. Yeah. Waverly Heights design has been moving right along, where I actually just got our 90% design review package. So we're pretty excited about that. Most of the project looks like it actually will be lining. We have a few areas where we're doing some spot repairs, but right now we're looking at it's probably 95% of the system is going to get the CIPP lining. And we are looking at I haven't submitted this yet, but we're looking at a construction project this summer that's going to come out of this design effort, and we're looking at submitting for grant funds to fund our construction.
Excellent. Yeah, because that's right now we're doing you have the Waverly Heights design is what's included. So
yeah,
the construction phase.
Yep.
Excellent. Cool. And Kenny, do you want to? Oregon City has the most projects going on.
Yeah, I can provide a little bit of a sit rep. got two projects underway right now, Malala and Rivercrest. I believe the combined value of those is like $7-ish million. Both of them are going to be wrapped up this spring or summer. Getting ready to bid on probably another $7 million of work that's going to get underway this spring. Lynn 2 and the one we just approved, McLaughlin 1. Then we're going to quiet down for a little bit, kind of get down to more like a $3-ish million a year running going forward. You know, basically, as long as the IGA is in place, Oregon City can kind of, well, I hesitate to commit to anything more than a budget cycle in advance, but we figure that $3 million a year is roughly sustainable as things stand right now. On the monitoring side of things, we've got meters in the ground right now. We'll get some better data in this year and finally get like a good calibrated model and give some more concrete numbers. Because so far, the best that I've been able to do in terms of like really quantifying how effective our work has been more on the qualitative side of looking at charts, which you can make some pretty good judgments off of, but looking forward to getting some actual numbers out soon.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how you do that analysis. It's always, like you said, it's hard. No two rainstorms are the same, no two antecedent conditions are the same. So trying to compare pre and post is always, what's the best way. So I'd be curious to see what folks are doing these days to make those comparisons and do that analysis.
Yeah, I'll be interested too to see how they decide to settle in on it, because so far, I'll be honest, I've been kicking a lot of the earlier analyses back to the modelers because they haven't quite met my expectations yet. It's a difficult problem.
Yeah, it is. It is. I always like falling back on the, taking your flow data from two different periods and doing kind of an extrapolation and then bringing it back to a 1-inch storm or whatever. What was the RDII for a 1-inch storm pre and post, and if that's comparative.
Yeah, I think that's where we're headed. We've just been having some difficulty even getting that level of fitting with the data because they've been so all over the place in terms of the types of water years we've been having. There's been a lot of variability in the last few years. Like it's just one weird year after the next, and it's not helping with modeling.
No, I hear that. Anybody have anything they want to add or questions or?
I have two positive things to share with the group. Last week, the board formally adopted our 5-year CIP, so that is now updated on our webpage. If you all want to, I shared it. Hasn't changed much at all since I shared it with this group. There was no comments from the advisory committee or this group that got incorporated. There were some cleanup things on, editorial things, but nothing substantive from a financial standpoint. And then the second part is that the Willamette facility plan, which we spent about 2 years working with DEQ on getting approval of. We finally got written approval from DEQ on our proposed approach for wet weather expansion at our treatment plant and a process that we're planning to implement there for a wet weather system. It's called an active flow system, but it's brought online when wind flows are going to exceed our current capacity or our existing system capacity. And it's an enhanced primary treatment system that then gets disinfected and dechlorinated on the way out. We will be kicking out an RFP this year, probably after the next fiscal year. So sometime this summer / early fall to get a consultant on board to work on that project. So that's also pretty exciting. That'll be a pretty long project. It's a $75 million plant expansion. So it's got a lot of buildings and things of that nature to service that. So two big exciting approvals that we worked hard on getting. So, and those should both be posted out to our webpage if anybody has any interest. And the facility plan outlined both the Tri-City and Kellogg improvements that are needed at both of our major treatment plants. So.
I wish I had thought of it earlier. I'd have the picture of you and Mike in your TBM.
Yeah.
Up as a background. That was quite.
I can share that as well. The tunnel machine, I think I had shared this before, but we reached the river. So we made it all the way to the river, which was pretty exciting. And kind of every tunnel you're nervous until it makes it to where it's supposed to go, and it made it to the river, which was great. We have, we did get stuck there for a while, and so we're working on discussions with the contractor around what caused it and who's responsible for that stoppage of work. We were down for almost 3 weeks working through trying to get it unstuck. But we made it, and right before the end of January, we pulled the machine out of the river. We did a pipe inspection, so I got to walk the whole alignment all the way down to the face of the tunnel machine, to the tail end of the tunnel machine itself. So kind of out in the middle of the river, in a pipe out under the river, which was kind of an interesting just experience overall. I mean, it's a 90-inch pipe, so you're standing tall. It's not like, it didn't feel claustrophobic to me, but I'm not a claustrophobic type person. But the lift out of the river was pretty exciting. We had a beautiful sunny day, but it's a 115, it's 230,000-pound lift, and so 115-ton a single pick out of the river of this machine that was 51 foot. And so you see the barge out there on the river, the big barge with the big crane that Kiewit has out there doing the bridge. That was the barge that lifted it. And when they swung it around, the whole barge, it listed pretty good to the weight of the equipment. And so we'll have some updates on our webpage, and probably I'll have updates come out to this group as well if anybody wants to watch video or interact on that front. So yeah, pretty exciting. Next summer we'll be back out in the river building the rest of the outfall diffuser pipe, and that'll come online here at the end of the year, which is also really exciting for us from where we're going into the river. It's just a much better spot in the river from a river quality, water quality standpoint. That's it. That's all I have.
Excellent. Greg, would you mind? I know we went to 3 meetings. That's something we haven't discussed. We just sent out the invites and stuff. Just want to give people a heads up. We had been doing quarterly meetings. Sometimes we don't have much to talk about, so we went to 3 meetings a year. This being the February meeting, and then Greg, the next one is
Let me double check. It's June. Let's see here.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't have that pulled up.
You are correct. June 26th.
June 26th. All right. Yeah, because originally scheduled for a holiday, so we moved it to the next week.
Yep.
Yeah, so June 26th. Thank you for pulling that up.
No worries. I'm just flipping through my own calendar. So,
yeah, the focus was to kind of just keep it more around sort of action items, things that you guys can actually participate in. So hopefully that makes it a little more engaging and useful to folks. And if you have any, suggestions to make it more worth your while or more interesting to you guys, please let Jessica or I know, and we're happy to hear those thoughts and put them into effect. So yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anything you want to share before we get back to our work days?
Hey, I just had a quick question, and Jeff kind of alluded to it. You said the I&I program is a 5-year program. So is this the 2nd year or 3rd year?
Third, isn't it? When did
We're coming into our 3rd fiscal year. So we are in our 2nd fiscal year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pulling it up, but Jessica might be able to get
It's fine. So if I'm looking at a project for this next year for 26, I'd be fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to misquote what year it was signed. I don't have it. I probably have the paper copy, but I don't have it in front. Oh, yeah, I do have the paper copy on my desk. Oh. Sorry.
And just from an overall, while Jessica's looking that up, just, kind of what we've had in our CIP, we had for 24-25 fiscal year, I think Oregon City had a lot of projects. We had $5.6 million in our budget for that I&I reduction program. Next year, we have $2.7 million. And these numbers are based on the forecast we received from you guys in terms of how we're programming it in. 2.7 million in fiscal year 25-26, 4 million basically in 26-27, 3 million in 27-28, and then we've carried 2 million a year for the next basically till the plan ends out. From a financial perspective, we're planning out 12 years. So we've got 2 million a year in here for the next 12 years. So we'll see how, again, got to see the success of the program and how effective it is, but we're planning to continue to support this if we can show that it's effective.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I found March of 2022 was when it was executed.
Yeah.
So.
Probably would have been sooner, but Lance, somebody didn't want to sign it.
Yeah. It was tough routing it around and getting so many different, what is it, 7 different signatures to execute? So, but yeah, cool. All right. Everybody all good? All right. Well, thank you all. Good to see you all. As Greg said, please email, reach out if you have questions or something you want included in the next meeting or what have you. And we will chat again in June. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.